Welcome everybody to Thursday's MUTV group chat. If you just discovered us, we're here every weekday during lockdown to try and take your mind off it for 20 minutes or so. Delighted that the usual panel are here with us: Wes, Ben, Maisie, and Danny. Chaps, how you all doing?
All good, mate. Thank you.
Good morning. Very good.
Yeah, fine.
A little bit stiff this morning, Stu.
That is something we are going to discuss. Yes, we are going to discuss the 5K challenge. First of all, Wes, you look like you're in Hawaii this morning. How do you explain that shirt?
Yeah, I'm supposed to be on holiday, Stu. So this is a Fijian shirt. So I'll just put it on today because it's going to be sunny. Might as well.
Suits you. By the way, before we move on as well, we must mention United have done a great job. You remember the Manchester United sign on the East Stand at Old Trafford, but the only sort of letters that are lit up now say NHS. You might have seen pictures on social media. Guys, it's a nice touch, that, isn't it?
Fantastic.
Yeah, it's brilliant. Fantastic. Lovely. Yeah, it is. I think it just sort of says collectively how everybody is feeling about the fantastic job that the NHS are doing, and I think that's a really classy touch from our club.
Yeah, no, it really is great to see that.
Great as well, Stu. The fact that it's right next to Old Trafford, right next to Hotel Football as well.
Yeah,
where a lot of the nurses and doctors are staying. So great touch. Well done, United.
Fantastic. If you were watching yesterday, you'll remember that the British swimmer Jaz Carlene challenged Maisie to the 5K challenge, which is if you use your exercise hour if you like to sort of run or walk or cycle 5K, and then you donate a £5 to Run for Heroes, and you nominate 5 others. Well, actually, Maisie nominated all of us as well, so we kind of all did it yesterday. So let's just have a look at what happened.
So we are then on a bike ride, the Jaz Carlene challenge. God knows how many K I'll do, but hey ho, here we go.
I'm not gonna lie, boys, this is harder than I thought it was gonna be. We're just halfway. My knees are in bits.
I decided to walk it rather than run it. So I'm gonna obviously immediately donate to the Run for Heroes. If you don't mind us calling it Walk for Heroes, that's okay. So well done, lads. Keep it going. Let's hope we raise an absolute fortune.
Whew, done and dusted. Just over 5K. Not a nice run at all, but done it. Cheers, Maisie.
Maisie's challenge completed. 6.5 mile. I can't work that out in K, but it's definitely more than 5. So, good luck the rest of you. All the best. God bless the NHS.
Just finished, Maisie. Well done everyone else that did it. Ben, Webb, Stu, Maisie. A big thanks again to the NHS. I'm sure something else will come up and we go again. Stay safe, everyone.
The NHS are a different class and they're looking after everybody. So many thanks to them again, and money is on the way. Well done.
So there you go. Wes, an athlete reduced to staggering up the steps of his own after just basically running around the block, and that's the state of it.
Yeah. Can I just say though, I was sat down for about 30 minutes. That was after the run, so getting up is a bit tight with my knees, Stu.
Yeah,
so it just takes a while just to get going again.
Well, it was Jaz Carlene that set the challenge. Delighted to say that she joins us today. How you doing, Jaz?
Yeah, I'm not too bad, thanks. It's nice to see everyone's taking part in the challenge. I wasn't sure whether Maisie would do it at first, but I thought I'd nominate him just in case he would.
Yes, I wasn't even going to do it. It was Stuart who mentioned it to me, and I thought, well, right, okay, bring it on.
It's amazing, like how much, because even for me, I haven't ran for a long time, and it's so hard. Running is so tough. It just takes its toll on your body. I was even sore after I did it. I did it a couple of days ago, and yesterday I was really sore from it. It's just hard. I had a stitch for like about 4 kilometres of the 5, so yeah, it wasn't comfortable.
Were you impressed with what you saw there? Everyone's given it a go.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's what it's all about, is getting involved, trying to raise some money, and yeah, just trying to stay fit and active and healthy through this time. So it's just nice to bring so many people together and just to try and raise money. It's a brilliant thing, I think.
Yeah, how are you getting on with the lockdown? Someone active like you, how is it? Is it difficult?
I think some days I feel great and motivated. Other days it's a bit tougher, but just trying to still stay fit. And when I do exercise, I feel so much better. So I'm trying to just do bits, whether it's on the bike, doing little circuits or a walk or a run, just doing something, because then I actually feel like I've got something out of the day. But yeah, some days I'm feeling a bit rubbish, just want to stay on the sofa. I'm not that motivated, but I think that's quite normal, and we've never been in this kind of situation before, so it is very different. But it's just kind of trying to adapt to a new normal, I guess, get used to this way of life for what it is for now.
Thank you for joining us, and continue to stay safe, won't you?
Thank you.
Jaz Carlene.
Cheers, Jaz.
Cheers, Jaz.
Her fault we had to do the 5K challenge. So thanks to Jaz. Just some YouTube comments from yesterday when we had Ronnie Johnson on. This one from Alan. There was an article recently on United's unsung heroes. Ronnie Johnson certainly needs a mention. What a player for us. This one from Will. What a player Ronnie was, as was Henning Berg. I hope Maisie doesn't cycle past the Gardener's pub on his route. There'll be no more beer.
Shot.
This one is slightly random as well. Ronnie's grandmother used to live 3 houses down the road from me a couple of years ago. So there you go. People say all sorts of strange things on the YouTube chats, but there you go. We've got no way of kind of making sure that's true, but apparently he did. So there you go. Right. Let's bring our main guest today, who is I think must be the busiest man in show business. He's absolutely everywhere. The former United striker Dion Dublin joins us. How you doing, mate?
Hello, how are you? Good. How are you, chaps?
Morning, Dave.
Morning, Dave.
I mentioned there that you are quite busy.
Mm-hmm.
So what's it like for you to not be busy?
I'm actually enjoying it, Stu, I've got to say. Being home, it's quite rare for me to be at home. I'm normally, out of the house for 3 or 4 days a week, and I'm enjoying being at home. I'm not sure the missus is, but I am.
When you are out and about these days, do people mainly stop you for football or for Homes Under the Hammer?
I'd love to say football, but it's not. I tell you what, Stu, sometimes I'm walking through the supermarkets and I've gone to get something in the supermarket, pushing the trolley, the missus is behind me, and a couple will pass me, elderly couple will pass me, and then they'll get to me, missus, and they'll go, "Oh, it's him! Oh, it's him! It's him!" And they don't realise that missus is there. So strange reactions, and all the young people don't have a clue who I am, which is nice in a way.
What do you think of the lads' houses? You can see a little bit of them now, mate. You're the expert. How would you assess the houses that you see in the background?
Yeah, I know all about Webbs. I think Wes is. Are you abroad, Wes?
Oh yeah, look, Dave.
I'm loving the shirt, by the way.
I'm in Crete.
Well, man, that's his normal gear.
Maisie's got a beautiful picture behind him, and Benji, I think, is upstairs.
I am, mate. Yeah,
Benji's
I am.
Upstairs, and
You could fit my house on Wesley's steps.
Listen, we often on this show, Dion, we're chatting about the situation at the moment, whether football should come back quickly. Is it going to come back? Should the season resume, or should we just forget about it and we'll start again? Where do you stand in all that?
I believe that the season should be finished. We should complete the season. I think it's only fair. Maisie's not happy.
No. He was for a second.
Yeah.
I think we should complete the season. I don't care when it comes back, to be honest, Stu. I think it's all about getting this bit right first. I think we all agree with that one. Let's get this out of the way. Let's go back when it's safe. I think, it's not so much the winning thing and the Champions League places. I'm talking about the Leeds and the West Broms and the people in the playoffs. In the Championship. There's a lot of money to be made for these clubs, and lower down the leagues as well. So I think you've got to complete it because they've worked so hard to this point to get to those playoff positions, top of the table, whatever they are. I mean, that's the most important thing. But I don't care what happens when the season starts. It's all about getting this bit right, Stu. It's so important that we do as we're told, to be honest with you.
I was trying to think, Dion, do you ever think back to your time at United and look at it? Because
Yeah, don't tell me that. To be fair, it was only a short while.
Yeah, no, but it was. But and actually, it's funny. United's first ever Premier League win. You got the goal. You got the winning goal at Southampton, and then everyone knows you got a bad injury. You went on to have a great career with some really good clubs, in Villa and Coventry and Celtic and Leicester and Norwich. But do you ever look back and think, what might have been?
Gosh, stop it! All the time. Still. I genuinely. People say to me, "Any regrets?" And I think, well, there's one regret, and then I think, oh, there's another one as well. The first regret is I wish I'd have nutted Robbie Savage a bit harder, and the main regret is I would have liked to have known how I would have got on at United for 6, 7, 8 years, because I look at Kanchelskis and Benji and Sharpie and Giggsy and all those wingers out there that, I played with Benji mainly in the reserves at United, but just I used to love people crossing the ball, and I missed out on all those amazing players, you know what I mean? And had a taste of it, Stu, and obviously it was cut short through the injury, but that's one thing in my career. I just wish was I good enough to stay there for 5, 6 years? I would never know. But the players around me would have made me better, and it would have been nice. But to be fair, on one of the things you touched on there, Stu, the first goal was Southampton away at the Dell. Who was anybody else involved in that game at all? Benji, were you on the bench or anything?
No, not for that one, mate. No.
Webbs, were you involved, Webbs, at all?
No, mate. I was at school there.
See you later. Down about you.
No, I was still at school, just.
That's scandalous. Stu, honestly, the kids nowadays.
Yeah, unbelievable.
So what happened?
Unbelievable. No respect. What
happened is I trained Monday, Tuesday, off Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and the boys flew Sunday to play the game on the Monday night. Long story short, I missed the flight on the Sunday. The gaffer said, right, we'll all meet up Sunday afternoon, and then we'll fly, and then we'll go to Southampton. Where did I go? I went to the ground and waited at the ground for an hour and then 2 hours. Nobody goes to the ground. I didn't know that. Nobody told me. Everybody went to the Four Seasons. Is that right?
Yeah.
Four Seasons on the M56, I think it is. And I'm waiting in my Vauxhall Calibra 2 litre.
Nice.
Oh, I remember it did.
Vauxhall Calibra. I was absolutely looking as sharp as you like. And nobody turned up. The gaffer said, listen, get the next flight. And I went down on the Monday morning, got absolute dog's abuse by the lads. Everybody threw their bread rolls at me when I came through the door. Got dog's abuse, started the game, obviously got the goal. But then Sir Alex said to me when it was time for me to leave, he said, I don't really want you to leave, because back then, Stu, there was 3 foreigners allowed to play in Europe. And he said, listen, I want you to stay to play in the European games for me. I said, listen, gaffer, I want to stay too, but I ain't going to play. So with your wishes, I'd like to leave. And he said, yeah, no problem at all. So he was great to me, to be honest. When I was in my cast, I think the lads were off playing European football. I remember one trip to Moscow, and he said, if you want to come along, I'll give you 2 seats on the plane. If you want to come on the plane and you cast and you want to be part of the team. And, I wanted to stay home and do my rehab and get back as quick as I could. But the club was good to me, Stu, even though it was a small time in my career. It's on my CV, by the way. Check it out.
It's your gut instinct that you would have made it. That you would, if things had been different, you would have made it at United.
It'd have been okay if you hadn't signed Eric Cantona. I'd break my leg. That's why I consider myself the catalyst to Man United's success. Because if I did break my leg, Man United ain't doing nothing without me. Sign Eric Cantona, that's it. Don't look back. It was amazing. I would have liked to have had another couple of years at least, Stu, just to test myself. Because, when the likes of Webbs and Brown and the rest of the boys and Maisie turned up, everything it got better and the squad of players got stronger, and Man United became this juggernaut. Obviously, I'd left by then, but I would have loved to have been part of that growing process, that dominance process where, Man United had for so many years and nobody could get near us. It was incredible to watch. And that team in 1992 with Parks, who was it? Parks, Pally, Brucey, and Dennis and Schmeichel. You know, with that as a backbone, it was incredible to watch. The dominance, incredible to watch the dominance from the bench.
Yeah, guys, you've all had injury as part of your career. I mean, do you ever look back and think of certain things? I mean, particularly you, Ben. Obviously, it's well documented what happened to you. Do you ever look back and think maybe this might happen, that might happen?
Yeah, it's you're bound to do that. It's pretty much the same as Dion, really. But I always try and look at it with fondness that, you know, I was at Manchester United, which nobody can take away from you. And with the way that the club treated me, much to the same as Dion, you know, Sir Alex Ferguson was magnificent, and he was openly very, very, you know, sort of sorry about what had happened to me. But when the time came for me to leave, I went with his best wishes, and you know, we've remained sort of fairly close ever since, and I can't really ask for anything more.
Yeah, Maisie, you've had injuries, I think, quite a few injuries in your time.
Yeah, it's not nice. It's not, you know, you're in there in the treatment room day in, day out, watching the lads train. Probably worse at the cliff, because in the medical room there, the lads used to train underneath you, and you know, you'd be sat there watching, eager to get back out. Carrington's a little bit different because obviously all the facilities changed, but there's nothing worse than being injured as a footballer. Absolutely, it's you just feel you feel as if you've not contributed to anything in the season, and it is tough. And you know, you have to have a certain mental resilience, because you know, you can certainly go under.
Happened to you, Wes, a few times.
Yeah, honestly, I wouldn't change anything, Stu, except for maybe one or two things where I've done it myself, and that sounds really stupid, but there's been a couple of times when the balls, I can see nothing's happening. It's on the sideline, and I've absolutely been me and dived in, broke my ankle. There's just one or two things like that where didn't need to do it. But looking at it, I wouldn't have changed it, because it sorts your head out in other ways as well.
Even though your knees are obviously, looking at that footage we saw earlier, obviously your knees are, well.
Stu, I was sat down for 30 to 40 minutes, and it's like getting up. So you have to understand that.
The time's going up. It was 30 minutes earlier.
It depends how much.
Yeah. What about you, Webster? Did you have many injuries in your? I mean, how did you go?
I think injuries was my biggest problem. I'll be honest. I think by the time I'd left United, I'd probably had 6 operations. So that was like, start to get going, injury, and that was probably the story. And I remember my last game for United was at Altrincham, and we played in the game and broke my leg. And they literally went straight from the stadium, straight to the hospital. And fortunately, my uncle's a surgeon, and he called his best mate, who was a guy called Ashok Paul, who did all the surgery for like the metatarsals and the bone stuff for United. And he got out of bed at 2 a.m, came and did my operation. And then by 5 o'clock the next morning, the phone next to the bed's ringing, and it was the boss. And the boss just rang me and he said, "Oh my God, son," he said, "you've been so unlucky." He said, "Don't worry, we'll get you sorted." And at that point, it was around February, March time. I'd just been offered 3 years to stay, and I was just in a funny place. I'd been on loan at Watford and done okay, and you feel like you're just getting going, and every time you get slapped. So, you know, by the end of my career, I've had 14 operations. My body feels it. So injuries are a horrible part. They really are, and you can't plan for them and think, "Oh, it's going to happen next week" or whatever. You go full throttle. And like Maisie said, I think the mental side of it's the most important. Being able to come back from a cruise ship, come back from a broken leg, and still go and play football. But I think by the end of it, when you get to like 30, especially for me, each one's chipped away at you a little bit, and it's just taking the edge off you, especially when you rely on speed, and you know, that's a big part of your game. So yeah, you learn to manage yourself, but injuries are it's part and parcel when you accept it. But come out the back end a stronger person for it.
You know what, Stu? I think what a lot of the fans and the punters don't know about footballers is that although we had the best job in the world, don't get me wrong, there's no job like being a footballer. It's the best job in the world, bar none. If you love football, it's the best job. Full stop. But I can pretty much say 100% of professional footballers play with injuries. There's always something that's wrong with a player. You can never. I can pretty much speak for the lads on the screen. When you go and play football, there's a niggle. There's something. There's a hematoma. There's a ligament damage. There's some. We played with so many injuries through our career. You know, through pain cleaning tablets or jabs and stuff like that, just to get out there. And people don't realise that your body's taken an absolute hammering. And that's through doing stuff like what Brownie just said about tackles, you know, an instinct thing that happens. You do things that you shouldn't really do, but it's an instinct thing on top of injuries as well. I know Benji's played with injuries, with his flipping knees and his injuries and all that stuff. All of us have.
Yeah. I used to take anti-inflams every day of the week just so I could go out for that hour or two and feel okay. And then before a game I'd take an anti-inflam the night before, an anti-inflam before the game, and then I'd take 2 painkillers just to get through the game. But what's that doing to you? And then I remember my shoulders used to do exactly it. Shoulders would dislocate, and like I remember playing in certain games, you run along and your shoulder would dislocate, but you didn't want people to know because you think if you make it known that you've got a problem, then the next one's not going to want to sign you. So, and all that kind of thing runs through your head. So I used to put my shoulder back in on the pitch and then just get on with the game. And it's like stuff like that. And I went to sign for Portsmouth and I'm thinking, how am I going to get through the medical? Because I'd strap my shoulders every day and the shoulder used to take the strapping off and my shoulders would bleed. And I remember thinking, how am I going to get through this medical? So I did it, and you find ways that they're testing out my shoulder, and I was just like holding the scap in place thinking, all right, I'll go through it. When he says your shoulder's all right, you're like, flipping heck, I'm buzzing here. But yeah, you play with pain all the time. I think it's part and parcel.
Danny, I think those games that we have now, our dressing room before we go out there is like Boots Pharmacy.
Honestly. Have you got an anti-inflammatory? Have you got
yeah, nobody cares about shin pads anymore. We all want painkillers.
Webbs, you're still our saviour, mate. Don't worry about that.
It's only because I'm young. That's it. Honestly, flipping heck. I love it still. And that's the thing. You still play now. I go and play on a Monday night over in Boston. You know what I mean? With a group of lads that just to have a game of football. I limp home at the end of it, but I just buzz off playing. So as long as your body will move, I'll always have a football at my feet.
Well, listen, guys. Time has raced by. Time has beaten us. I enjoyed that, Dion. Thanks so much for coming on. We appreciate that, mate.
Thanks very much.
Yeah, your house looks a lot better than those places you go around on Homes Under the Hammer. I have to tell you, mate.
Trust me, Stu. The Homes Under the Hammer houses, I've been turned away from so many because they're not very nice.
No. Yeah. No, we appreciate you coming on, mate. Thank you so much.
Cheers, guys. Thanks very much. Cheers.
Yeah. Thanks as well, lads. Just a reminder that, first of all, the match rewind vote, the Roma game, the 7-1 is won. You're going to see that later on tonight. Friday, we always have a fan on this show. So fan of the week tomorrow. If you want to come on here with these lads, mutv@manunited.co.uk on the email, mutv@manunited.co.uk. And the great comedian Justin Morehouse is going to be on tomorrow as well. So join us for that. Lads, great to see you. Thank you very much.
Pleasure. Thank you. Cheers, Stu.
Cheers, tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in.
Stu, it's 18 degrees. Get something on. Come on.
Yeah, it looks nice.